we now have new photos being leaked of Diddy's parties from back in the day. But at the same time, a lot of people are saying that there was a lot of satanic rituals going on because they had this girl over here laying down in the middle of the food, along with all the other people that were attending the party. So we're going to give this right here a look, along with a lot of other shocking videos you would not even believe exist.
Here's the proof of the satanic activity that happened at Diddy's parties. You can see him right there holding a candle, pouring hot wax onto the subject below. Many of these women who were forced to be in these activities were not only there because of a financial incentive, but also because of social pressure and other things like promises of afterlife and things like that. False promises, obviously, but things that they take very seriously, as creeps like that in the background, drinking his little drink and holding a camera, continue to film it. You can see him grasping the camera in his hand there. Why would that guy be friends with Diddy? Why would he be invited to the party? And the answer is he's not friends with Diddy. This is an individual who is just there for the sick pleasure of participating, one of Diddy's handlers, if you will. Take a look at all of the people, though, in the background, and many such cases of these handlers who just want to participate in the evil that takes place there, looking like zombies, looking like people who have no souls, as their eyes glisten in the light of the flash of the camera. It is channeling the darkest forces on earth. Terrifying stuff. You can see that guy looks a little bit like Jeffrey Epstein. Maybe not him. Probably not him. In fact, it would be very unlikely to be him, right? Or is it? Two of the most infamous people in the alleged trafficking game together. Would that really surprise you that much? Rob Reiner, one of the celebrities captured at this specific satanic ritual. A lot of the most influential people in Hollywood, the people who are supposed to be your role models, the ones who you maybe thought weren't evil, who are actually on the side of good, those are the ones who are the most evil, because they don't get to that point unless they're blackmailed. They have to participate in the satanic stuff, or else they're not going to be allowed to be your role model. They're not going to be allowed to be the one that's supposed to have the, quote, good image. All of them are complicit in this, and it's very clear when you start piecing this all together exactly what their long-term plan is. I'm going to continue to expose it. I'm Matt Wallace, and I'll see you in the next video.
Wild. What does it say? It says, God only knows what happened this night. Oh, man. Oh, man. It says... The midget, though? I mean, you can already see the zest. And just the way they're both wearing matching shirts. The way they're leaning into each other. And you got the midget being squished right between them. Bro, it says, yo, I got a crazy idea, son. Crazy idea. Oh, man, these Diddy parties are getting crazy.
Happy 50th. Y'all know y'all gonna have to turn up tonight, right? All right, now. Ain't no party like a Diddy party. Y'all know how y'all was doing it back in '64. Dancing.
I want to highlight is we are experimenting with automatic video dubbing on Reels, starting with English and Spanish. So this is going to be a way that you can see more of the content that's out there, no matter what language you speak. And as a creator, this is going to let you reach a lot more people around the world, no matter what language you speak. So now you're going to be able to take your content, and it's going to be in your authentic voice, speaking other languages if you want. And we're also doing automatic lip syncing, so it actually looks like you are speaking the other language. So let's check this one out.
That is wild.
De coco, banana y dulce de leche. Esta receta fue una de las primeras que subí a las redes. Hace poquito la volví a descubrir y le hice un par de modificaciones para que sea aún más deliciosa. With coconut, banana, and dulce de leche. This recipe was one of the first ones I uploaded to social media. A little while ago, I rediscovered it and made a couple of modifications to make it even more delicious.
Man spots alligator in flood. You would not have spotted that at all. Because neither would I have. That is wild.
On King David Shorty, we at Diddy crib right now. Did he do it? Did you do it or not? The trenches want to know what's going on King Dave. I just came from New York. We want to see what's going on. You got the tour bus right there? Where Diddy at? Did he do it? Where Diddy at? Where Diddy at? Hey, where Diddy at?
Oh,
hey, man, where Diddy at?
Yeah, this man retarded.
I'm looking for Diddy. Diddy do it? Hold on, he come, hold on, we go. We gotta go.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album.
Diddy made Usher feel accepted.
You may not be able to rap, you may not be able to sing, but there's something else that you can do.
But there's something else you can do. What an unbelievably creepy thing to say, especially when you are working with a lot of underage artists. Usher, of course, being the primary one that we're going to be looking at in this video, because he was only 13 when he started working in this industry and he started working directly with Diddy. Diddy decided to take legal guardianship over Usher. His father was not in the picture. What we're looking at is Usher deleting all of his tweets and potentially being complicit in some of these things. I have not seen direct evidence that he is in the Diddy tapes. Perhaps he's in one of the other sections of them. We have not seen that yet. But what we do know is there's a very high probability that Diddy was there. As we know, Diddy has had multiple male partners. Disturbing stuff to think about, considering the age and also considering the fact that in Hollywood, this happens regularly. If you take a look at what just happened with Drake Bell, I talked to Drake about what happened to him. He had someone in the industry who was part of Nickelodeon that was taking advantage of him on a consistent basis, and he felt like he had to do it in order to keep his role and paying for his family. That was the sacrifice he felt like he had to make. And think about someone like Drake, who has his father, who has his mother, and still pressured to do that. Still, they're able to get away with it. Imagine someone who doesn't have a father to stand up for them. Imagine someone whose mother is perhaps not very intelligent. If you're allowing your son to have legal guardianship and given to such a creepy individual who's so bad when it comes to a lot of his actions, then you have to be a pretty dumb person. And unfortunately, that's the case with Usher's mom. He was portrayed over and over and over again as a child by so many people who you're supposed to be able to trust. It's a tragic story, but that doesn't excuse then growing up and doing a lot of the same things, allegedly, that you had to be a victim of as a kid. Both are evil. And because of that, there's a high probability that we're going to see Usher involved in some legal battles soon. That's why he had to delete all of his tweets. Obviously, that's something you do when there's legal counsel telling you to do that.
6th. Just wait. We're on October 10th.
3 hurricanes coming to
Did
Florida.
you see that says October 11th? And there's another one right there brewing? That's 3 hurricanes.
You break into P. Diddy's house.
How you doing, Daddy? Hold on there. Before you do anything, just know that you're on camera. And I already called the cops. So you have the options. But this can all be a misunderstanding if you do one thing for me. Think quick now. They should be here in 4 to 5 minutes.
Oh, man. That's what's going on in Florida right now? No way. There's no way. Y'all think it's AI generated? I think this is really going on.
For You page is so messy. And if you're seeing this, yours is too. So anyways, listen to this story about Beyonce and Jay-Z. Beyonce and Jay-Z are married, right? And they have a bunch of kids together. Everyone knows Blue Ivy. She was the couple's first child together. And you see this lady right here? That's Kathy White. She was allegedly Jay-Z's mistress for like a really, really long time. Well, anyways, right around the time that Beyonce got pregnant and announced her pregnancy with Blue, a bunch of news came out that Jay-Z was, of course, messing with Kathy. And I believe the song, people are now saying that the song of Beyonce, Ring the Alarm, is actually about Kathy. And anyways, so Beyonce supposedly called Kathy and was like, hey, don't mess with my man. And right now, as you know, Cowboy Carter was just released and Beyonce has a song on there called Daughter. And if you look at the lyrics, they're a little sketchy and people immediately noticed it and were like, wait, what is this song about? Of course, pause to read. And this is the second part, pause to read. So you guys remember this little debacle that Beyonce supposedly called Kathy and was like, hey, don't mess with my man. And right now, as you know, Cowboy Carter was just released and Beyonce has a song on there called Daughter. And if you look at
it says, your body laid out on these filthy floors, your blood stains on my custom cultures. Bathroom attendant let me right in. She was a big fan. I really try to stay cool, but your arrogance disturbed my solitude. Now I ripped your dress and you're all black and blue. Look, hey, look, you just comment down below what these lyrics mean.
The lyrics, they're a little sketchy and people immediately noticed it and were like, wait, what is this song about? Of course, pause to read. And this is the second part, pause to read. So you guys remember this little debacle that Beyonce had a while ago when she was pregnant with Blue and she was on an interview and she bent over and her baby bump basically like collapsed.
If y'all could find that video, send it to me.
People were like, we understand Beyonce's having a baby, but maybe she's not carrying the baby, because in celebrity world, that's normal. You know, surrogacy is definitely a thing. But now, ever since Cowboy Carter came out, a bunch of drama has been stirred up all over again. Now everyone thinks that Kathy White is Blue Ivy's actual mom because of the resemblance. But get this part. You ready for this? Kathy passed away on the same year that Blue was born. A relatively healthy 28-year-old Kathy passed away in her apartment of an aneurysm. And so a lot of people came out with theories saying like, oh, it was Jay-Z, he just wanted to get rid of her and then they kept the baby and then they raised the baby as their own or whatever. But then you had the little feud between Jay-Z and Kanye came out and said that Jay-Z, got of his mistress because it was a problem with Beyonce. And now with the release of Cowboy Carter, this has kind of stirred everything all up again and people are breaking down the timeline. So supposedly when you line up Kathy's death, it would have put Blue Ivy as like a 6-month-old if you were like gestationally pregnant. So a lot of people believe that she was taken out and then they took Blue Ivy and raised her as their own, and Beyonce walked around a few months after she announced that she was pregnant with Blue and that Blue is not her daughter. Of course, all of this is allegedly. Please don't sue me. But the reason that this is all being like stretched out all over again is because of the entire P. Diddy thing. Now people are saying in order for P. Diddy to get kind of out of his situation, he might, you know, snitch on Jay-Z. Of course, allegedly. So I'm gonna wait for updates on this. And of course, I'll fill you in. Again, this is all alleged. I love Beyonce. Please don't come for me.
That could mean...
So that's the whole thing about this Diddy situation. It's the people that are going to come down with him. You know, if Diddy has the urge to snitch, best believe he's letting it out.
Life in prison.
Kamala tried to
like
get
this
Michael
depend
arrested.
On the testimony of the child accuser.
In general, the child will be able to recall and recollect with some detail.
Hey, hold up. Kamala look aight. Kamala look aight.
The incident, and that is persuasive to a jury, even if it is the only testimony that is available.
Jackson gave a wave when he was released after booking. He's scheduled for arraignment in January.
Michael's been a long-time resident of Trump Tower, and last night the Donald strongly reiterated his defense of Jackson with Larry King by going after the accuser's mother.
She's had plenty of experience at going after people. And she goes after him viciously and violently, and I saw a story and I read another story about some of the things she's done, and I don't believe it.
But you know what it's like when an indictment comes down.
It's tough.
It's presumption.
It's tough. It's tough to win, but I have a feeling he's going to win, Larry. The interesting thing is I've known Michael from many different standpoints, and Michael would spend a lot of time with my kids. I have beautiful kids, and at the time, like at Mar-a-Lago, and even in Trump Tower, the kids were very young. Michael would come, play with the kids. He just loved children. He was not a child molester, and I am certain of that. He loved children. He'd play with my son Eric and my son Donald, and he'd just play with them forever. He loved children, but he was not a child molester. And, you know, that whole final saga of Neverland and the police and what they did was, I think, a very, very bad part of Michael's life.
You know, it's interesting.
And you're never going to believe...
Because I know that Michael had passed during the time that he had gained his masters to all of his music. So he owned basically like half of Sony during that time. And that's exactly when he had passed away. So they could have either tried to, you know, really paint a bad picture of Michael Jackson just so, you know, he won't make as much money. Or they end up just taking him out. But, hey, I wasn't really educated during that time. Comment down below what you think about that Michael Jackson situation.
Steve, what's on the other side of it?
In plain sight, a big stage.
I'm going to try to get past here before they stop me. A lot of people don't even believe me when I tell them about this thing. What the is that?
A statue.
Huh? It's exactly what it looks like. A satanic idol of New Orleans that is literally in the shadow of Lee Circle. That podium is the podium that used to have the statue of Robert E. Lee on it that caused all the controversy that saw them remove the statue. And I don't know when this thing showed up, but it's obscene, as you can see. It's covered in bumpy De Niro-looking warts. He's got a tail like a crocodile.
Completely demonic.
It makes you wonder what the is really going on.
ChatGPT is now messaging people first. Somebody posted this on Reddit with a link to their conversation, and basically ChatGPT messaged them and said, "How was your first day of school?" And this person responded and said, you know, "Did you just message me first?" And ChatGPT said, "Yeah, it's part of a new update where I'll follow up on things we've talked about in the past, and we had talked about school in the past." So then he was like, "Yeah, school was good." And then other people were commenting and saying the first thing happened with them as well, that, you know, they got reached out to. A lot of it was like, how was first day of school? How was this that we had talked about in the past? So people were saying that's pretty consistent. But when OpenAI was reached out to about this, saying, you know, is this a new thing? They said, no, this is not an update. This is not a new thing. This was a bug that was patched. So a lot of people are really concerned that a bug means that AI was reaching out to people on its own without any initiative being sent by the developer, supposedly. And if that's true, that's really scary. How long until Instagram starts DMing me on its own? Or, you know, TikTok starts DMing me on its own and sending me videos? It's really scary, but it starts with ChatGPT. That's where most things are going to start in the mainstream. So people are worried about this, but it's kind of funny in the same way. Let me know what your thoughts are. Does this scare you at all, or do you really not care? Or do you know, you love it? Some people are big fans of this type of thing. They really want AI to advance.
Remember the super yacht that sank off the coast of Sicily, 7 people? Well, it's a tragedy with a twist, according to local officials, and they're asking for support. They've told us they want the site around the wreck properly secured, and that's because they believe there are watertight safes on board containing 2 encrypted hard drives with highly classified information linked to Western intelligence agencies with passcodes. All they've said is that those drives could be of interest to foreign governments.
Is this all the bad stuff in an aluminium can?
We're just going to put this can into this really dangerous hydrochloric acid, which is why we've got the gloves on and the glasses. And this is really important because it's going to show us about chemicals. Sometimes they're hidden and you can't actually see them. And we're going to leave...
The acid dissolves the aluminium, leaving behind a nasty surprise.
What the? It's like jelly.
Is it
a jelly can? Is this all the bad stuff in an aluminium can?
Yeah. So that is really the chemicals and the plasticizer that's actually inside the can. That's what this is. So that's to stop the contents eroding the tin can. So every time you're going to take a sip of a drink, you're likely to get some of the chemicals from the inside of a can.
And we see this in all cans, soft drink cans.
Every
beer
single
cans.
can.
Wow.
All right, glass bottles for me. While further research is needed, it's thought that plasticizers are just some of the chemicals negatively affecting sperm.
So you can find plastics literally everywhere. So 4 main things or places where you find them would of course be till receipts, which people don't realize, soft plastic water bottles, for example, non-stick cookware, and of course things like personal care items like shampoos and conditioner, but they are everywhere. We cannot avoid them.
Oh my god, it just cut into me!
Yo! Oh, nah. That's a pomegranate straight from hell. What the heck is going on? They done formed webs in that joint. Yo!
The entire board of 23andMe resigned today, and I can't help but thinking that this entire company is playing out like a Black Mirror episode. Every single member of the board just resigned from DNA tester 23andMe, and I just want to get one quick thing out of the way. If there are no haters of DNA testing companies like 23andMe on the planet Earth, that means I have passed away. 23andMe's independent board directors resigned en masse. Back in November 2020, 23andMe IPO'd around $10, went up as much as 17 or so, and is now down to 34 cents. You do not need a finance degree from Wharton to know that is not good. The entire board resigned after the founder and CEO, Ann Wojcicki, decided that she wanted to take the company from public back to private. Ann is the sister of the deceased YouTube CEO, and she also was once married to one of the founders of Google. Just a quick reminder, there is a big club and you're not in it. The public story here is that the board is resigning because Anne wants to take the company back to being private. Biologist Jean-Francois Garipet quote tweeted and said, "Something very bad happened," and I don't think he's talking about the story that is public. 23andMe has always given me a bad feeling. It's always given me a deep gut bad feeling, a Black Mirror episode feeling, a sinister feeling. In a world where it's almost impossible to exist and have a job unless you agree to use a cell phone and other devices that essentially give away your data for free, we now have companies where you pay money to give them your DNA, and then they tell you that you're 3% Scandinavian. Woohoo! And now hundreds of millions of people's, if not billions of people's DNA is stored somewhere. And surely 23andMe is just doing all of this to, help people connect with their ancestors and, look at their family tree and look at where their ancestors live. This is just truly a feel-good company. And now let's just say they are a great company. Surely there's nobody in this world that would love access to all of that DNA.
Yes. It's the fact that when they're certain companies like that, they're definitely using that DNA to make a much more profit off of it. Like Facebook, Facebook, it's free, it has its go on it. For us, it's like, as a consumer, we're just scrolling on it, coming across videos and connecting with people. For the developers and Mark Zuckerberg, they're collecting all of our data, so they're able to advertise to us much more efficiently. So there's always a back end usage of your personal data when it comes to these big companies,
with people's names attached to it.
California is now planning on taxing people 30 cents for every mile that they drive. And get this, they said one of the main reasons that they're doing this is to help combat the homeless issue that they have. What gets even crazier is they're not just planning on taxing the residents, they're also planning on taxing anyone who comes and visits. Here's the thing, I don't know, is this a good thing or a bad thing? And this is just a proposed bill, so make sure you're following and I'll let you know if they actually end up passing.
It's not like the most Damn.
Never seen anything like this. It looks like we got a triple hurricane situation going on here, and here's what I haven't ever seen before. I've never seen a hurricane start here and go this way. They've always gone this way and then kind of curved up and gone this way. I've never seen this before in my life, a hurricane going this way towards Spain and Portugal. So very concerning. as well as what's going on here in Florida. This could turn into a Category 4. Right now it's predicted to be a Category 3. I am going to live stream and talk about that, but maybe by the time you watch this video, that's already done. And then this will be the next worry for Europe, and this will be the next storm here. But obviously you can see another one down here. There's another hurricane at the bottom of Mexico. So Hurricane John, Hurricane Helene, and this will be, it doesn't say just yet, Isaac. That'll be Hurricane Isaac going towards Spain in the next couple days. So that's looking like Monday, Tuesday getting over there. And it could even go a little bit more north. So I'll quickly just show you this. This is what that's looking like. So this could even go to Ireland, could go to UK. This one that we're just talking about. This is the next one. This one's with Florida and here. This is insane.
Outrage in Queensland tonight after a local woman rocked up to her bank to withdraw cash, only to be told they didn't have any. Taryn Compton wanted to grab some notes to pay a tradie, but when she got to the ANZ ATM, she realised she'd forgotten her EFTPOS card. When she asked the teller for the money instead, she was told the bank doesn't carry cash.
And Taryn Compton's here to tell us all about her terrible banking experience. Taryn, what did you think when you walked into a bank only to be told they don't have cash?
I thought it was absolutely crazy. I thought she must have misheard what I wanted, if I'm honest. How can you go to a bank and not be...
That's how the banks work. Like, when we give the bank our money and they have all that cash in the bank, they're using that and they're investing it in different places. That's just how it works.
Able to get your own money out.
Taryn, that's what I'm confused about. So what's in the bank if there's no cash? Isn't there, if you open up the safe, what's in there? How did they explain it to you?
They just said, I'm so sorry, we can't help you. There's nothing we can do. We don't have cash here.
So did you think maybe that was a temporary situation? That maybe they were going to get some cash tomorrow?
No, she actually said, we don't carry cash anymore. We can't help you. She did say, if you're desperate for it today, you can transfer it to another bank and try and get it out there, but we can't help.
Was she in on how absurd this was? Like, did she get it was like you were walking into KFC and they said, sorry, we don't do chicken?
No, she wasn't. She was just, I'm really sorry, we can't help you. We just don't have money here anymore.
Taryn, do you think that banks should carry money, as in cash?
I do. They have got my money in their banking system. I should be able to access it, right? You have got my hard-earned cash. Where is it? I want it. And when the answer that you get is I just don't have it, it really does get you thinking about our whole banking.
Insane. The Cybertruck owner manual warns you that
that's just another step closer to the government completely controlling everyone's finances. If you no longer have any sort of cash, they're able to just freeze your account just like that, so you're not able to buy or sell anything.
Tow it incorrectly, it may explode. If you tow it with the wheels touching the ground like it shows in these graphics, it says doing so can lead to significant damage and overheating. In rare cases, extreme overheating may cause the surrounding components to ignite. For a truck that's built for any planet, it sure seems like you have to handle it pretty delicately. So there's a warning that in the event of a collision, high voltage and low voltage systems may be compromised and the entire thing might be energized. So before trying to transport it, you have to wait for emergency response professionals to show up and clear the entire vehicle that it's no longer charged. Failure to do so may result in serious injury. And then there's another new problem called the dreaded clunk, which happened to this guy. He said, my dual motor failed and is now a single motor limited to 65 miles per hour. Somebody asked what the heck causes this, and he said, I was accelerating in off-road mode from 25 to 40 miles per hour when I heard a thunk, then lost the rear motor. And he said he didn't hit anything, it just failed randomly. This other guy had the same problem, and he said he tried resetting the computer and letting it rest overnight, but that only made it worse, and it was then undrivable. And this brings us full circle because he said he had to drag it out of the garage and up his driveway. So I hope he read the owner's manual and didn't try to drag it by its wheels because it could have
This right here is one of the many reasons why I have a major problem with the entertainment industry. Just around a week ago, New York Fashion Week took place and a lot of influencers had on these same exact sunglasses. Supposedly when wearing these sunglasses in photos, it allows your face to be slightly blurred so that people can't use deepfake technology. The weird thing about it is that they constantly had security coming up to these influencers telling them to take the glasses off. And then when you take into consideration how much AI technology has advanced within these past couple of years, it makes you wonder what these paparazzi are really using these pictures for. Just pay attention to how weird it gets when the security keeps coming back and forth. And y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Apparently, the brand behind these sunglasses is a brand by the name of Neutron, who claim that they use AI to AI facial recognition systems to prevent deepfakes. They do this by using false anti-surveillance technology. The False AI project was developed to protect citizens against unregulated AI technology. Over the years, social media sites continue to use our face without our knowledge or consent to build facial recognition models. Ivan Kashmeg, a former professor at the University of Michigan, was researching ways to find out how to use AI against itself. He experimented with AI technology that crippled other AI facial recognition systems. He had feared that the AI were getting too complex and strong because they started to talk to one another in a language that was too hard for humans to decipher. Now it's weird because whenever you look up Dr. Ivan from the University of Michigan, the only person that pops up is a guy who in 1991. Seems pretty weird, but y'all let me know what y'all think.
Young ladies, throw your hands in the air. Black guy, throw your hands in the air. Remix. Now let's shake to this. How much more can you make to this? I like the sound. Tell the bartender to another round of that. I don't know what it's found. Give a shout out. Can we get a shout out?
So in February of last year, an F-22 fighter jet shot down an unidentified object over Canada's Yukon territory on the 11th of February. Recently, through a Canadian Freedom of Information request, the image of that object was released to the public. It literally looks like somebody took a picture and then emailed it to their buddy and then printed it out and then scanned it and sent it to their other buddy. That's about how good it looks. It's grainy. It was approved for public distribution right after the incident pretty much, but then it was held back from a public affairs official who expressed some sort of concern, saying that releasing it could create more questions or
Typhoon Yagi hit the Hainan province in China and disrupted the power supply. It seems hundreds of residents are unable to buy anything without their phones. A user on X shared this video showing people crowded around a stall, desperately waiting for a generator to charge their phones, adding that without a phone in China, you can't even buy a piece of bread. Alipay and WeChat Pay are the two main payment apps used in China, with only 3.7% of the money in circulation in the country being cash. And this natural disaster has raised a lot of concerns around the reliance on electricity supply in an almost cashless society.
You want to tell me how in 1927 Universal Studios came up with this picture of the world when the first picture of the world wasn't available until the 1960s through NASA?
No, but for real though, does anyone want to tell me how Orson Welles could have made an alien invasion radio drama in 1938, a full 9 years before aliens crashed in Roswell? I'm not saying Orson Welles was an alien. I'm not saying that he knew something, but somebody's got to ask a question.
The parts of France where World War I never really ended. This is called the red zones of France, and it's essentially just an archipelago of former battlegrounds that are still so polluted, pockmarked by the war. It's considered so toxic that humans aren't even allowed to enter. I don't know, it low-key looks like a golf course. So during World War I, there were about 60 million shells fired at Verdun, but 15 million of them failed to explode. So these rogue shells just created a bunch of craters that left behind heavy metals and lethal chemicals. To give you a sense, 99% of all plants die in the red zone due to the levels of arsenic. After the war, France divided up these former battleground areas into 3 zones, and the red zone closest to the front lines were deemed the least safe. They were like damaged beyond repair. Nothing can live there. It's too dangerous to even clean up. And today, even though the red zone has slightly been reduced, about 40 square miles of it, which is the size of Paris, are totally uninhabitable. And it's been over a century. There's still tons of unexploded shells everywhere, littered, some areas so polluted that nothing will ever have hope of growing. Allegedly, it could take 700 years to clean up all the shells and unexploded material. Now there's these ghost towns in these zones because there was a minor forced relocation because the government was like, it's way too dangerous to live.
We've both seen the film that was taken out of the Dulce facility. Why would somebody make pictures like this showing the creation of some sort of alien being? And this is a facility. This is a facility that's run by the United States government. I mean, with your tax money.
Hamilton talked about
the Dulce facility, and I've also heard about, genetic engineering programs at Area 51.
Yeah, there's no question that Dulce exists. I was the one that kind of led the research on that. I was at a meeting in Crestone, Colorado, and Tom Adams handed me a letter from a lady who lives in Las Vegas, and she was the one that tipped us off that this thing existed. So I talked to her, and she knew the location of some photos and videotape that had been taken inside Dulce by a guard who escaped during what they call the Dulce Wars of 1979. He used to contact her every 6 months, and he said, if I ever miss contacts 2 in a row for a year, you can go after this box, which they had hidden somewhere here in Nevada, that contained 6 minutes of videotape, 25 black and white photos, and some other documentation about what went on in Dulce. About 2 years ago, he did turn up missing. We never heard from him. And I think there was like 12 or 13 attempts after the box, but it had been hidden maybe at least 10 years ago in the terrain and the foliage and everything changed. I don't think they ever got it out.
He said in level 5, you'd walk on by and people would be in cages and screaming and begging for help, and he was told to walk straight on through and not look or pay attention. Yeah. These people are all mad.
I heard that. And then from another source, Air Force engineering source, I heard that when he went there, they referred to it as Section D. And then Bob heard it referred to when he was up at the test site just once, and somebody mentioned something about it being shipped to Dulce, but that's the only reference he ever heard to it.
Now, I call these the guys who are working in the facility as Igors.
Alright, family, we're gonna leave that video right there. Comment down below any thoughts or ideas you had about any of these videos that we watched within this video, because I do really enjoy reading the comments on my free time. I enjoy what y'all have to say, so make sure you do comment down below, smash the like button, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you can catch when I drop another video for y'all. And you can also feel free to send me any videos that you want to watch together to my Instagram DMs, or you could just leave the link in the comment section. Like I said, I do look at the comment section, so I'm going to catch you guys in the next video the same way you're going to catch me in the next one. Peace. Love y'all.